Hey guys, welcome back to DAT. In this video I'm going to be taking a look at the Eachine, or the Eachine if you prefer, never know which way to pronounce that. This is the US65 Pro and she looks alright, but let's find out. So here it is guys, here's the Eachine, or Eachine if you prefer, US65 Pro. It's exactly how it comes in the box. Box was a bit battered if I'm honest with you, but it's not a problem, is it? And attached to the side was this plug adapter for me, because I'm in the UK, so this plug adapter is actually for the charger that's inside. So let's open her up, take a look. What do we have? Excuse me. So here's that actual power brick. So it comes with a power brick as well, and this is to power the battery charger that is in here. There's a nice battery charger. So like I said, because I'm in the UK, they supplied the actual plug as well. That just goes in like so for me, and that will charge the battery. So that's a great little thing to have in the actual case. And this, I must say, I'm quite impressed with this. This is a nice little battery charger. So their batteries, let's have a quick look at one of their batteries that come. Their batteries, if you've seen some of these videos before, this is actually a new connection. I think it was out last year actually, so it's not that new at the moment. And this is a GNB, and they call it a 27, but they also call it, I've written this down, it's an ET 2.0 battery plug. But I know on this it actually does still say the GNB 27, so it's got the GNB 27 with it. And everybody knows by now what they're trying to do is actually get these connections really tight and get the pins rather than the old PH2 connections. So they get more power, and I believe they can get less sag from the actual batteries. So it is a good thing, and I know these batteries are readily available now. I will link down below where you can get them, because you can get them and pick them up. So yeah, so you've got your standard on here. If you have a look, you've actually got nice row of the new connections, and you've got the old connections as well. And this is a great little charger, so you can power it off the power brick they supply. They've got an XT60, so you can connect to your battery and do it that way, or USB connection. So I think that's a nice little charger to have actually. I might actually just chuck that in my bag where I go anyway, because it's really nice. Real nice little battery charger. And here are the batteries, like I said, with their new connection, and they supply 4 in there. 1, 2, 3, 4. And these are, they're the 250s, and yet to see if they're actually any good, but I'm sure they'll be alright for a little bit, and I'm sure they're cheap enough to buy replacements. So that's not too bad. 4 batteries. And spare set of props. You get a prop tool, you get a nice little screwdriver thing, and this here is the adapter so you can actually fly it to us, which we'll get onto in a minute. Also you've got an OSD board for the camera, so you can change some settings and stuff like that. And also a full spec sheet or instructions, how to set it up, full colour, so you should be able to sort of find out what you're doing. And it's quite detailed actually, so it's quite a nice little instruction manual to have. Very useful if you're a beginner and have no idea what you're doing, so that's quite nice to be honest with you. Stick that all back in there. And here is the main thing, US65, there she is. And the US65, they do 2 at the moment, and the only difference is basically the paint jobs. So I've gone for the US one because it was better, or I thought it was better anyway. And I've obviously gone with the crossfire, so this has got a crossfire inside, which I think is actually brilliant for this size. So I'm quite looking forward to actually flying her. Obviously it does depend how far I can get, because obviously how far the range of the VTX the camera is might not be as good as the actual crossfire. So I might not get that far anyway before the signal cuts. But I'm looking forward to actually using the crossfire controller to actually fly this with, because that's what I'm actually used to flying mostly with. So there she is. And this little thing on here, this is to actually mount the batteries. So you have to, I've tried this once before, it is a little fiddly even. That has to be stuck in there. That pushes all the way through. It's not that fiddly actually. and you can get the other battery in there as well. Okay, that's actually a little bit tighter than I thought. There we go. So it is quite fiddly, and it's quite tight as well actually, but they do fit. So there it is, 2S, 2 batteries. That was really snug. It is a little bit fiddly, but it does work no problem. So there you go, that's how it'll be done. It wasn't that fiddly, was it? Everybody's moaned about that. I've watched some other reviews and everybody's moaned about this little thing, saying it's really fiddly, really tight, but it wasn't that bad, was it? To be honest with you, it was alright. There she is. So let's go through some specs of this quickly, just to give you a quick overview. Obviously the name of this craft, this is the Pro version, it's US65 Pro. She will fly on 1S if you prefer. You don't have to use 2S, but you do have to get a connection to actually get the current to go through on one of these, which they don't supply in here. So I'm going to be flying at just 2S. The flight controller board on here, this is the all-in-one, and this is the CrazybeeX flight controller. You've got the Caddx Ant on here, which isn't a bad camera to be honest with you, so it should be fine. Motors, these tiny little motors, these motors, they are diddy, aren't they? These are the 0802s, and they're the 14,000 kV. And like I said, she is running crossfire receiver inside. And that's about it, guys. Obviously, if you want to know the draws, it's got a 15 amp continuous draw or a 20 amp burst. So she should be pretty reasonable. Yeah, looking forward to flying that. So what we're going to do now, she's quite flexible as well. Pretty flexible. She should be able to take a crash. Okay. So let's get her bound up to my controller and we're going to take her out for some flights, and then I'll tell you what I actually think about her. So what we're going to do now, guys, we're going to get our Tango 2 and we're going to bind it up to our quad. And to do this, all I've done, just so you know, is I've actually duplicated a model that I've got on here already, and I'm going to use that to actually bind to this quad. If you're unsure about this controller, I've done a full video, a couple of videos about it as well. Do check them up. I'll link them in this video or down in the description as well. Do check that out, and that should sort you straight. So, duplicate model on there. Quad's here. Good little thing about this, I can actually plug it in USB to the computer, and the USB power will power the actual receiver on here. It will go and light up. So let's plug her in, rather than wasting batteries. And there you can see the red is on there. We're going to get our controller, enter into the menu. First menu is crossfire. We're going to select that. We're going to go select that one, and we're just going to scroll down to bind, press bind. That's gone green for binding. Excuse my voice. And it looks like I'm going to have to press the button on here. So let me find a little tool. And I'm going to press the bind button on here. It's just here. And this should make the light sort of start blinking. There we go. It's gone green. And these should start communicating. This is what I love about the Tango Update RX. So something needs updating, this will actually do it. Press enter, and this is going to update. So I'm going to sit here, let this update, and it will bind automatically. I'll be back in a second. There we go, guys. That was pretty painless. Went through the whole process. I've got solid green on here, solid green on my receiver, and it is bound absolutely perfectly, updated over the airwaves, does whatever the crossfire system does. It's absolutely brilliant. Absolutely love it. No hassles, no problems. I used to do the old FR Sky stuff, and that was such a pain in the ass to update. It was horrid, but this just does it automatically for you. It is superb, guys. If you can't tell, I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it, guys. Get yourself crossfire, brilliant. So that's all done, and I am pretty much ready to fly. But obviously, first things first, what I do need to do, and you have to do this every time, guys, you have to plug it into Betaflight. Make sure your sticks are actually in the correct place. The setup and the actual PIDs and stuff, I'm going to leave exactly how it comes, because I do like to fly these things on stock, how they send it, so I know what it's like. But all I'm going to do is check my stick positions and make sure my switches are all set up correctly. Obviously your arm, disarm, stuff like that when you fly. And that's it. So yeah, let's do that now. There we go, connect it up. Make sure she's in. There you go, she's spinning around. Straight over to receiver. And we can see something is actually wrong there. So yeah, the stick positions are completely wrong. And the thing that you need to change is just T, A, E, and R. And I will link another video up here that I've done dedicated to actually sorting this out, but this is basically exactly what you have to do. And I believe it is A, E, T, and R. Hit the save, if I press it. And that will put my throttle as throttle, yaw as yaw, roll as roll, and pitch as pitch. So it's simple as that, guys. That channel map there is the thing you're after if you've got this crazy spinning quad here. Do check that out. If you don't do that, your quad won't actually arm because it just won't let you. So there we go. Quad's safe and stable, sticks are all in the right place. Let's just have a quick look at the modes, make sure what I've got. I've got arm, angle, and flip over after crash. I'm gonna, yeah, these are on the wrong ones for me. So I like my arm to be on this one, which it is. So that is actually fine, that's no problem for me. Angle mode, as you know, I don't fly. Flip over after crash. Should actually be on this. Doesn't seem to be doing anything, so I'm going to set that one up again. Untick this. Beeper, I'm going to add a range, see if it'll work. So that's going to be my beeper. Put that over there. Flip over after crash, add a range. And that's going to be it there. Like I said, guys, if you're unsure about actually setting up these switches and getting everything set up with your modes, then I've got another video all about this. It does show you how to set up the switches, how to get them in the correct places, stuff like that. Do follow that along and come back. So there. That is how I fly my quads. 1, 2, 3, press save. Sorry, I had that the wrong way around. So I get this a little bit. It's red for danger, guys, for your arm. Red is on and no red is off. So red, danger, yeah? Your props are going to be spinning and cutting your hands off if you've got them on. So there we go, that's all set up. Press save. We'll have a quick look at the actual PID tuning, but like I said, I'm not actually going to change anything. Rates are here, filters are there. Pause it if you want to have a look, but it should be exactly the same as the one you get in the box. And that is it, guys. We are good to go. Or I might just check the OSD. There's normally a lot of crap that you don't really need, but I will leave it on for this one. And we'll see how it goes. That is it, guys. So without further ado, I'm going to do some flights. We're going to take a look at this right now.
Do you think I'm crazy? I've done all this before.
Hope you enjoyed that flight, guys. I've got to say, I'm pleasantly surprised by this. I went into this probably a little bit negative thinking that it wasn't going to be much cop, if I'm honest with you. But I am pleasantly surprised. It flies very, very well out of the box. It flies very stable, which is obviously a really good thing. Yeah, it was good. I think one of the main things is probably because it was on Crossfire and I was able to use my standard controller that I fly with daily. So rather than going to a different controller that I hardly use or just use for whoops now and again, it made a big difference. So I did enjoy that aspect of having Crossfire in here. But regardless of that, the actual PIDs and the setup and the tune of this thing is really, really good, and it does fly very, very well. So yeah, very happy with it. It did surprise me. And I crashed it a few times and it's withstand all of that. So it's, you know, pavement, stones, flowers, grass, concrete, houses, my car again, everything like that. It's survived, it's no problems at all. Bounced it off the walls inside as well. So yeah, it's done very well. It's got that sort of flexibility with it that sort of makes it withstand a crash. So that's absolutely fine. One thing to point out, if you do go for Crossfire in this, obviously your Crossfire receiver is going to go a lot further range than the actual VTX on here. It's got a tiny little VTX antenna here and it can hardly go anywhere. So Crossfire is probably a bit of overkill for it, but to be able to use my standard controller that I use daily is brilliant anyway. So yeah, great fun. Do like it, did like it a lot. There's a link down below. I will be linking where you can actually buy this from. It's an affiliate link, hope you don't mind. So I will get a small little bit of commission if you do buy it from that link. Just a little disclaimer there. Yeah, like that a lot, guys. You can get that in 2 colors. I forget what the other color is. It's whatever it is, and the US one. US one I went for because obviously America's best, isn't it? There you go, and obviously you get that beautiful battery charger. Really like that battery charger. That's going to be in my bag, whatever. I do like that. The only probably downside is 4 batteries isn't going to be enough, guys. You're going to have to invest in some new batteries or some more batteries because you're going to want to rip this thing. It was really good fun, and obviously the batteries ran out a little bit too quick. But that's it, probably the only negative, you need more batteries. There you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. Do hit the thumbs up, hit that subscribe, and let's keep on doing these. See you on the next one.